Hello, my name is Joe Cortez, former international boxing referee from Las Vegas, Nevada, the boxing capital of the world. Well, New York, last weekend, we had Mike Perez versus Bryant Jennings for elimination. Now, the winner of that fight, which turned out to be Bryant Jennings, is fighting the winner of Deontay Wilder and Berman Sterling. Berman Sterling is an actual WBC heavyweight champion. If he gets by Deontay Wilder in the next couple of months, then the winner will fight the elimination winner of this past Saturday, Mike Perez, Bryant Jennings. It was a fight. It was not an exciting fight. The referee had to work 10 times harder than any normal referee out there. It was more like a wrestling match. I mean, the referee kept breaking him apart and kept warning Mike Perez about excessive pushing down on the head on Bryant Jennings over 10 times throughout the fight. He warned him several times. If I would have been the referee in that, I would have stopped the action and gave a strong warning or gotten into the corner between rounds and told him, you keep pushing his head down, my man, I'm going to take a point. And do that early to take control. So what happened was, it got out of control. It went into the 10th round when Mike Perez came in with his head, had Bryant Jennings up against the rope, and it came in, looked like he was coming force with the head, and then the referee said stop or break, and then he hit it one more shot, and the referee then decided to take a point. Was it the right time to take a point? It was an infraction, but that could have been avoided had he taken a point earlier in the fight. I gave a real strong warning at the beginning of the fight. Anyway, the fight would have ended up a draw if the referee did take a point, which means what? It means I had to do it all over again to elimination bout. I say that the commission or the sanctioning body should come up with a ruling that there are not to be any draws in an elimination fight, because you got to do it over again. So how about we go to a 13th round? Make it a 13th round. I mean, don't think, hey, you got 12, go one more. This way, you eliminate yourself in a, let's start all over again, let's do the elimination battle all over again. No. Back in the old days, I remember I used to referee fights on the East Coast, and there's some tournament fights, and they used to go into 10 rounds or whatever it was for elimination, for the championship fight, and they say, what we'll do is, if ref tell the fighters not to take off their gloves, until we tell them it's okay to take it off. So it was a close fight, don't take off the gloves, it was, it's a draw, one more round. We used to do it back then. We can do it again now to eliminate the situation of a draw. Anyway, Bryant Jennings gets a shot for the heavyweight WBC title. He's a mandatory after the fight with Wilder and Sterling. And on the main event of the card, which was not really anything exciting, just what all the fans expected, was Gennady Golovkin stopped Daniel Gill from Australia in 2 or 3 rounds. I think it was 3 rounds. He stopped him, and it was Gill had not a chance. This guy Golovkin is a hell of a puncher. He's somebody to reckon with as a middleweight. Anybody out there, all the other champions out there, got their hands full if they're going against Golovkin. And he's calling out Miguel Cotto. You know, he wants to unify the titles. He wants Miguel Cotto. Well, you know what? It'll probably be a good fight, but I think before Miguel Cotto fights Golovkin, he'll probably fight somebody else, maybe like Canelo Alvarez, somebody else, but he's not going to be fighting Golovkin right now. I think Miguel Cotto wants to enjoy his belt as a middleweight champion for a while. Golovkin is a tough cookie to deal with. And, you know, I just say that boxing is a sport that, you know, it's not easy when you're competing there as a champion. And, of course, you know, everything is a business. Boxing is a business these days, but the fans want to see the good fights put together. So we're hoping that all the promoters and the networks get together, make all the fights happen. The fans are still waiting for Manny Pacquiao versus Mayweather. You know, Mayweather is he's up there to another 3 fights. He's committed already to 3 with Showtime, and 3 more. He got 1 coming up now, doing the rematch against the Argentinian. And you guys know he had his hands full when he fought this young man, Maidana. Marcos Maidana. Marcos Maidana, great fighter, big heart, came out to fight and gave Mayweather all he can handle. However, Mayweather wants to make sure that there's no doubts in any of the minds of the fans, and especially Marcos Maidana, El Chino, who they say is, gave a tough fight. Well, you know what? I think Mayweather is doing the right thing to clear up any doubts in any the minds of some of the fans. So I think this time again, I'm gonna say it again. Mayweather's a tough guy to beat, especially if he wants a rematch. I mean, if he's got your number down packed real good now, he's not gonna make any mistakes like he did the first time. He laid on the ropes and tried to let this guy punch himself out. The guy didn't punch himself out, but then Mayweather said, "Let me get off the ropes and let me box his ears off," which is what he did in the second half of the fight. And if he picks up where he left off in the first fight, it'll be a shutout. But anyway, Mayweather, I believe is going to try to knock him out this time. I think he's got a way to fight Chino, Maidana, a style that can maybe offset him. Maybe he'll get on him early in the fight, start hitting with some good punches, and Mayweather's not going to hold back. He will get this one over and done with real quick. Mayweather's no dummy, let me tell you. If he's taking a rematch, he knows what he's doing. He knows he got that one in the pocket, but anything is possible. Maidana comes in with a lot more confidence this time because he felt that he did something very different than any other opponent that fought Mayweather in the past. So come September, we'll see what happens, and it'll be an interesting match to watch. I think it'll sell much better than the first one because Marcos Maidana did prove that he's worthwhile of a rematch. So that's what's happening. Judges and referees, I tell you guys that we have to keep on with the seminars, learning all we can as far as scoring the fights, how, the criteria as far as judges, what is it you look for scoring a fight. Concentrate 150% what you're doing. Forget about the crowd. A lot of the judges, I still say that you have to raise the bar. And you can't score by what you hear. You got to score what you see. You can't be influenced by the champion or the favorite fighter. You have to call it the way it is. Fighter A, fighter B. Was the champion takes off that belt, is given to the commission in the ring when the fighters are announced. Okay, he's the champion, but in the eyes of the judges, there are no champions in the ring. The belt comes off, is given to the commission, and the belt is given to the winner at the end. Fighter A versus fighter B, and I think we'll have better accurate scoring as far as the cleaner blows, effective aggressiveness, ring generalship, defense. There's different criteria in scoring a fight. Some judges they seem to be scoring a lot in favor of the fighter who's the aggressor. Just because he's the aggressor, you have to be effective at being the aggressor. Anybody can come forward like a bull, but if you're not connecting, you can't give him the fight. I mean, who's connecting punches? So you can be effective aggressor, but even if you're going backwards. Sugar Ray Robinson, one of the greatest. He wasn't going forward. He could box. He could be going backwards or knock you out with a punch. There's fighters that can fight going backwards and lateral movements. But a judge has to really look carefully again and score it the way it really is. And I know sometimes the positioning of the judges is difficult. I always say, hopefully one day somebody will listen and say, let's raise the judges up a little bit higher. And you can see, and I proved it. Ring Magazine gave me a 4-page study that I did, and I proved to the world that by raising the judges 8 feet from ring apron, they can see much better. You only miss 1 to 2 punches from the top. From the sitting on the standing position, you're missing anywhere from 9 to 19 punches per round. Per round. Sometimes, I know when I was a scoring official as a referee, there are 2 judges and a referee was the 3rd judge. And sometimes the round was so close that at the end I would say, I hit the 10-second warning. I said to myself, I hope somebody throws 1 good punch so I can give it to one or the other. So I'm sure that the judges in the fights today, if you're missing 9 to 19 punches per round, it's not fair for the fighters to get an unjust decision because the judges couldn't score what they couldn't see. They didn't score what they want the blind side. They miss something. I mean, it's amazing. You raise them up higher, you don't miss any punches. one in front of another like this, how the hell can I see? You can't. You know, when you raise them up a judge higher, I'm up, you got two guys up here, I get up here, I can see the angles, two fighters punching each other, I can see it clearly. We proved it already. So I hope that some commissioner or sanctioning bodies will say, you know what, let's do a pilot. Let's do a little study. Let's look at this a little bit more to start avoiding these, to start avoiding controversial decisions. We've seen enough controversial decisions that people say, when is it going to end? Why the fights are so close? What is it the judges are seeing? It's not what they're seeing, it's what they are not seeing. That's the problem we're having with boxing today. Don't blame the judges. It's not their fault. It's the fault of the regulators for not changing their position, because everybody says, that's the old style from the old days. You know, we never change position of judges. But you've always had controversial decisions. So let's try something different. You want a solution? I got the solution. Raise them up higher. Well, at the seat of the block, get acrylic type of chairs. Get something, create something where the fans can see through. The fighters are never stationary in one place anyway. You got the four corner posts. You got the camera guys up there. Anybody complaining about them? No. You know, before they started with the camera guys on the ring aprons, people say, those camera guys going to be in the way with that. You know what? If people get adjusted to it, they get to accept it, and they go forward with it, and that's the way it is today. That's why the fans at home got the best view. Why? Because the camera is up here. They look right into the ring. And the fans at home say, what were the judges watching? Well, they were not watching what you were watching, that's for sure. Because you're up here, you're watching it from up here. They're watching it from down ring apron. You can't see anything. I mean, you miss at least 30 to 40% of those punches. I guarantee you miss them. You know, I can tell you, I've been in boxing. Some of the judges, especially I got a lot of amateur judges, so I didn't put any professional judges in a spot. The amateur judges say, yeah, we did the study with you. We got some of the best amateur judges in the country, 10, 15 years experience. When they sat up there, they said, oh my God. They said, this is unbelievable. What a beautiful way to see a fight. This should have been happening from day one. We see perfectly from the top. With that said, guys, talk to you next week. Send me your comments on that.